What is up, guys? It is the Sportster Bradley Walker, and welcome to the Walker Report, part of In the Zone Sports Talk Radio, part of NGSC Sports, guys. Remember the website. It's ngscsports.com for all your current sports content. Thank you. Hopefully, happy Thursday, everyone out there. I am the Sportster Bradley Walker. We have a good show for you guys this evening. We are sponsored by CreatingZenSpaces.com. The local choice in St. Petersburg, Florida for house cleaning, organization, decluttering, and pet sitting. It's about finding the peace within you and adding comfort to your life. And remember, guys, Zen Spaces begins with you. Be kind to yourself and one another. Like I said, guys, happy Thursday, everyone out there. Hopefully everyone out there is doing well. We are one day away from Friday. The end of the week is upon us, and we are closing yet another month. Next Thursday will be the last day of the month. April 1st is next Friday. Let me go ahead and welcome on my two esteemed co-hosts. Good evening, gentlemen. How are we doing this evening?
All right, Bradley, thanks.
All right.
I'm coming.
All right. Yeah.
He sounds like a cartoon in the background. I'm coming.
Which one?
Let me get my chair.
Yeah. Good entrance, though, Adam. Good entrance.
Yes.
Right. No way up here today. This chair is a lot taller than my normal chairs.
Oh. I'm going to start off the show with a trivia question that I will have the answer to and see if you guys can answer it for me. The golf question.
Okay.
And the question is, what was the Masters tournament called for the first 5 years of its existence? I'll let you guys mull that over, and I'll tell you the answer at the end of the show.
Okay.
What was the Masters tournament called the first 5 years of its existence? Anyone out there in internet world too, if you want to answer that question, you are more than welcome. Anyone out there watching can also give me the answer to that question before the end of the show if need be. Let us start, guys. I'm going to start with the MMA. There was two big MMA stars that both got arrested. Yeah, both. Conor McGregor was one of them, and Jorge Masvidal was the other. They both have been arrested, not for the same thing, but they were arrested for separate things. But yes, they both have been arrested. So again, I guess they're both in big trouble. I mean, obviously.
I wonder what they got busted for.
I'm not sure. Yeah, let me see what Conor McGregor got busted for.
I know a Masvidal got busted for, after they had a punch. It was a barroom brawl at a Florida restaurant. And,
okay.
And Masvidal was going after one of the other top fighters and saying he was dogging his kids and whatnot. Like, okay.
Covington is the one who he was going after. Yeah. Conor McGregor got arrested for dangerous driving, which means I'm sure he was intoxicated. I'm going to go on a limb and say that he was driving while under the influence of alcohol.
What else is new?
The guy that creates whiskey is driving while intoxicated.
Yeah, no cares there.
Trying to tell all his fans out there, it's okay to drink and drive. No, it's not okay to drink and
drive.
No,
stupid.
It's not okay to drink and drive. But yeah, I mean, I haven't really heard anything really going on in the UFC. I hate to bring the negative to the show with, being arrested, but that was the news that broke. So, that was all that I have. Speaking of any other kind of, we are just a week away from WrestleMania. That's next weekend. The second and the third is WrestleMania. So that's next Saturday and next Sunday.
Wow.
2-night event. I think it was 2 nights last year too.
Yeah, it's been 2 nights for the last couple of years.
I know it was, yeah.
It was here in Tampa. It was a 2-night event as well.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So I mean, anybody that's into again, I'm not trying to compare wrestling and UFC by any means of the imagination. One is real and one is not real. But we are again about 2 weeks out of. We could talk about next week if you want to for WrestleMania. We could talk about the card next week on here. I don't know if you guys heard or not. There was a big announcement in the tennis world. I don't know if you guys have heard.
Oh yeah. On the male or female side?
Yeah.
The female side. The female side.
Yeah. Retirement at 25. Yeah.
Yeah. Ashley Barty, right, is the one that's retiring.
Yes.
Yeah. So what do you? So here's the thing. I mean, you're retiring at 25. Good for her if she thinks that she's got enough money. Why the hell not? You know, why the hell
what's
not?
What's going on top? I mean, a lot of people think like, well, you're on top of your game. Like, why would you want to stop now? Look, would you rather stop and think, well, I'm a has-been now. I'm number 244th in the world. I know I'm horrible. I gotta hang it up. I should have was on top. And maybe she's gonna retire now, but maybe in a few years, she'll be still young enough to make a comeback if she wants to.
Yeah, 25. You're exactly right, Lou. Exactly right.
I mean, come back. When I saw it break this morning, was in 3 years when she's 20, when she's 28 and she's had a couple of years to miss it.
Yeah.
Maybe she'll want to make a comeback and have another career.
And maybe she's at that age too where she wants to have a family too. I mean, a lot of athletes. For that, I mean, Serena Williams had a baby. So I mean, yeah, maybe she saw that like, hey, I want to do that. I want to have kids.
She's accomplished about everything you can in tennis. So
at such a young age too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, you're exactly right about her possibly coming back in 3 years and still being able to be as good as she was at 25.
If not better.
Yeah.
If not better.
Yeah, if not, you're right. If not better. Yeah.
I mean, it's not like football or baseball or something like that. We're missing 3 years. The game's gonna pass you by.
Yes.
Tennis is tennis. And if you still got it, you still got it.
Right.
Come on, guys.
Yeah, like I said, she can walk away now and then, come back in a few years and still be as good or better than she is right now. So absolutely. I found Bud too. I was going to talk NASCAR next. Okay. There's a couple of things that I had. I'll start with them talking about NASCAR is their racing wish list at Atlanta. It further straddles the line between entertainment and sport. So obviously it must have been a good thing for NASCAR what happened in Atlanta. I'm guessing that's what the article was talking about. Was that true? I mean, is that what happened in Atlanta?
I thought it was fun. I had a blast.
So I mean, then that means it was good for NASCAR to repave the track, go there, and then have the race.
I think so.
That it was okay.
I thought it was a lot of fun.
Well, that's good for the sport because then they found another track that they can. I mean, not that I'm saying that not all of them draw fans, but you can have one more race you can add to the schedule that could be exciting to go see.
Definitely another race that's going to be a lot of fun I can't wait to see them come back in a couple months and see what happens when we get a second. Run at it.
Are they racing again in Atlanta?
Later on. I think it's July. I think it's the middle of July.
So there'll be 2 races there.
Yeah, 2 races this year.
Okay.
I had fun. I thought it was a great race. There was a lot of action. it's still a learning. There's going to be a learning curve when we come back later on this year and next year and into the future. They'll get that hammered out and think, they'll have a better idea of how to set cars up and whatnot. It's going to drive me crazy. Oh, my laptop.
It looks like
a lot taller than the other chairs that I normally use. So.
It looks like there's a penalty going on for Ross Chastain. Did you hear about that?
Okay, I hadn't heard that.
No, I didn't hear it either.
Hang on
I hadn't heard about that one. I heard about the Keselowski.
Let me bring that article up real quick. Let me see. This is from RacingNews.com. It says penalized during Sunday's race at Atlanta. Atlanta Motor Speedway dropped the green flag for NASCAR Cup Series. It was the first super speedway event on a 1.5-mile track. Ross Chastain drove in front of the field early. While leading, he blew a right rear tire and slammed in the outside wall. Chastain pitted with a heavy damage, and the crew went to work on the machine. His issues were compounded as the team was handed a penalty for pit road infraction. Chastain was held on a pit lane for 2 laps. However, by the end of the day, he erased his way back to the lead lap.
Yeah. Got it home second.
I guess the whole thing was the penalty. I guess the 2.
Yeah, it was just on pit road.
Okay. I thought maybe that affected this week's race, but obviously it doesn't. That was just for that specific race. The other thing I had, Bud, is this one talk. This is from sportscasting.com. It says Rick Hendrick makes his pitch for NASCAR's next major innovation. Hendrick Motorsports drivers have won 283 NASCAR Cup Series races, beginning with Jeff Bodine's breakthrough triumph in 1984. The victories have come on short tracks, intermediate super speedways, and road courses. Those tracks have been old, new, and refurbished, the later being the case on Sunday as William Bryant took the checkered flag at Atlanta Motor Speedway to give his HMS drivers 3 victories in this young season. Now owner Rick Hendrick envisions the next frontier for winning, and it may be closer to happening than previous thought. And no, it's not Le Mans, though that is also on the auto dealership's Tycon to-do list. See here, it says he had a news conference, plans to announce the enter a car into the 24. To enter a car. Well, what does that make? That okay? Hang on a second. Into the Le Mans race in 2023. So he's talking about possibly putting a driver in that race next year. Yeah. 3 of the 400 motorsports drivers have been to victory lane in 2022. Okay. So who's the only one that hasn't who hasn't had a victory yet this year? Chase Elliott. Okay. Next up on the schedule is the first road course of the season, the Circuit of Americas. That just happens to be where Chase Elliott and the other drivers' quartet scored his first of 2 victories a season ago. So a 4th victory early season is hardly out of the question. So obviously they think that possibly Chase will get his first win.
I want to see what he looks like in practice, but yeah, I would not be shocked if Chase went out and won this Sunday.
Hendrick seems to be dominating NASCAR for a while. It seems like they are like the Yankees, Patriots dominating type factor for how long they've been at it. Because you had Gordon and those guys were on Hendrick, and they Junior was there at one time, and they all won, and so seems like Hendrick gets the right guys to drive for him. So
when you got the most money,
would you call him the most successful owner in NASCAR?
Yeah. Easily.
Sure.
14 titles, almost 300 wins.
Jimmy Johnson was also a Hendrick driver, wasn't he? Yep.
Right.
He has 1 title with Terry Labonte, 4 titles with Jeff Gordon, 7 with Jimmy Johnson, 1 with Chase Elliott, and 1 with Kyle Larson last year.
That's 13, right? Or did I count that correctly? 13?
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's the most all time.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, that would definitely make you the most successful owner in NASCAR.
That is not a what is.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know who could top that. I mean, who else out there could top that?
No one I know.
Junior Johnson, I believe, had 11 titles, if I remember right.
Okay.
And then Petty had 6. Petty Motorsports.
Hey, we got a goal. Let's go. Shorthanded.
RCR has 6. Yeah, 6.
Who has the most? Who's the one that owns the most? Is it Yarborough that has the most, or is it Jimmy Johnson?
It's Jimmy Johnson.
Johnson.
Yeah, it's a three-way tie between Johnson, Petty, and Earnhardt.
Okay. So where's the race happening this weekend?
COTA, the Circuit of America is in Texas.
Texas. Okay. Texas. Okay. Well, that is that for that. I have an Olympic story. I don't know if I have the Olympic still up here.
Really?
I do. Okay. It is actually involves it's a doping thing. Go figure, right? These are coming out.
The Russians again?
Olympian who swapped urine in first to have he has 2016 gold medal stripped.
Wow.
This was, and bear with me if I'm butchering this name, but I'm going to try my best to pronounce it. Najet Romanov has been stripped of his 2016 gold medal and banned for 8 years for doping on Tuesday. He's an Olympic weightlifting champion. Romanov is the first gold medalist from the Rio Games to be stripped. Previously, silver and bronze medals were stripped in weightlifting, canoeing, and boxing. According to the OlympiaMedia.org, at least one gold medal has been stripped for doping in every Summer Olympics from 2000 through 2016.
Wow.
Romanov's world record at the Rio Olympics was controversial even at the time. It came 1 year after he served a previous ban for doping while competing for Azerbaijan, if I'm pronouncing that. Azerbaijan, okay.
Azerbaijan.
His integrity was publicly doubted by his rival, Muhammad Mahoud of Egypt, who took the bronze medal in the 77-kilogram class. Maybe after some doping control, some things will change, Muhammad said in Rio. Wow, okay. Interesting. Mahal is now in line to get the silver medal, with Chinese great Luo Baun likely to upgrade to become a 3-time Olympic champion. Wow, okay. So that was
good. You know that the money that you make off that, if I'm not mistaken, you make that every year, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
If you win a medal, you continue to make the money that you'd earned every year, right. I believe. I think I heard that somewhere.
Nah, and he's in trouble if that's the case.
No, I meant the other guy, the guy that moved up to the bronze. That's really cool.
Well, I mean, that's cool too. That now they're going to move the two guys that finished respectively second and third are now going to move up to first and second. That's
the way the guy that finished fourth gets third. Yep.
So
that's cool.
So actually, ended up the guy who finished fourth is going to end up with a bronze medal at the end of the day.
Yeah.
All right. But that was all the Olympics. I mean, I just saw that coming up. Let me guys jump to golf. Last week, Sam Burns became the second person in PGA Tour history to repeat at the Valspar Championship, which was not too far from me in Palm Harbor. Gary Woodland, excuse me. I can't remember the guy's name now that won. He won twice before. They're playing the match play as we speak. they're also in Texas playing right now in a match play against each other. It's kind of everybody's against each other, so there's not Ryder Cup or President Cup type thing. It's everybody for themselves.
Right.
As I expected it.
Yeah, this will be the first time since 1994 that Phil Mickelson will miss the Masters.
Yeah.
I guess with those controversial things he said earlier in the season, he is taking a break.
Right.
So this is the first time he'll be missing Augusta, and that's next month.
Yeah.
We can talk about that as we get closer to Augusta, being that's the first major of the year. I
thought we were a couple weeks away now.
Yeah, I think the Masters.
The second week in April.
Second week in April? Okay. Yeah, April 7th is when it's.
Right. It's 2 weeks out.
Yes. We could talk about that. Let's see. On that day, April 7th.
Why not?
Yeah. You want to start? We could talk about on round one. Or we could discuss it next week and kind of preview it next week. And then.
Yeah.
We could preview it next week and then talk about the. How day one looked.
Yeah. I'll be doing that on my show in 2 weeks when I cover day 3.
There you go. Yeah. Well, like I said, we talked a couple weeks ago about how they lengthened 3 holes at Augusta National. So the golf course will be longer. I think 18 was one of the holes that's already tough enough, and they're going to make that hole longer than it already is.
Right.
So that's interesting. Greg Norman keeps talking about the tour overseas in Saudi Arabia. He's one of the ones that was pushing for that tour. So he keeps talking about that. It was kind of cool to see Sam Burns win it, and they went to extra holes on Sunday to win it. Let me find out real quick who the other guy was that won the Valspar 2 years in a row, because I had the guy's name in mind, and now I've lost my train of thought. So hang on just a second. Let me look and see. So like I said, Burns became the second guy to do it. Let's see here. Wow, there was a streaker. Go figure. Streaker runs into Valspar Championship course, interrupts play. Okay. That I did not know.
Streaking was out of style.
That's what I did. I did not know that. I can't imagine you being naked and running across the golf course. I mean, everybody. Paul Casey is the other one who won it twice. Paul Casey won it in 2018, 2019. There was no Valspar in 2020, obviously due to COVID. Yes. And then the last 2 years, Sam Burns has won it in 21 and 22. So Paul Casey was the last one to win. I was there in last year, and we had to wear a mask even outside. It was kind of cool to see. I saw Brant Snedeker hole out from like 150 yards out for an eagle, par 5. So that was cool. I got to see Phil Mickelson up close. I got to see a bunch of golfers that, you won't be able to see up close, but here are the favorites that were going out to win the Dell World Match Golf Championship. John Rahm had the best odds, 12-1. John Rahm, Justin Thomas, Victor Hovland, Corey Morikawa, Scotty Scheffler, Patrick Cantlay, Dustin Johnson, Xander Schauffele, Daniel Berger, and Brooks Koepka were the top 10. I thought I saw Bryson D Shambo earlier today. I don't know if he's coming back from a wrist injury or what is going on with him. But
wasn't caused by Brooks Koepka, was it? No, I'm kidding.
No, they're actually on the same golf course together, and there's no drama so far.
Okay. I thought maybe it might have caused by him.
I mean,
how you doing, Brooksy? That's it.
I mean, wouldn't it be something if those two were paired against each other in a match? I would love to see that. Yeah. I would pay to see that match on pay-per-view.
Get ready for a big-time war. Watch her sling with my 5-iron.
I would pay to see that. I would pay to see that.
And there was no streaking involved in that, right?
Yeah.
Well, yes, they call him the streak. Oh, no. By the way, you see how it goes? I sure did. I saw these two couples. They got the golf course. Hey, I thought, did you see that? Oh, no.
Well, I forgot to tell you guys, when I was in Nashville, the last day we were there, we went to Dave and Buster's into the mall. We caught an Uber home, and the guy that was our Uber driver was being, I guess he must have pissed somebody off in the parking lot, and the guy was following him. He goes, yeah, he goes, I'm an MMA fighter. He goes, so let me stop this car if he keeps following me. I said, wouldn't that be something? The final day of my vacation. Say, oh yeah, but by the first time I've ever seen someone get their ass kicked in a parking lot by an MMA fighter. So, but no,
no, in New York it happens a lot more. Well, not by an MMA fighter, but they still get their butts.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's not uncommon. By an MMA fighter, that's a little out of the ordinary.
Well, no, I mean, I would have loved to have seen that guy get out of it and then watch him get his ass kicked, by that guy. So it would have been kind of.
Well, it happens after in New York, it happens after the guy gets mugged. So. And Newark too.
We can go ahead. We can jump, guys, if you want, to the NBA. The season is winding down. We're close to, when did the playoffs start for the NBA? Soon, right?
Yeah. Well, first they got to do the play-in stuff. So that's going to come first.
Okay.
Yeah. So the Nets might be in. I can't say for the Knicks right now. Although they had a good win last night, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
I was going to ask you, Lou. I read an article about Julius Randle being fined for the 5th time this season. What's going on with him this year?
Randle's becoming an idiot. I mean, he was a star for last year, but he has made so much, comments about how the Knicks are terrible this year, and he's really losing it.
Yeah. Because I read an article that this is the 5th time he's been fined by the NBA already this season.
Yeah, for his antics.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
And it looks like to me that New York is going to relax their COVID vaccine.
They are. All athletes in New York, vaccinated or not, are able to play at home.
Yeah, Kyrie Irving's got to be a happy camper.
But the thing is, though, that not everybody is happy with this, because it's like, well, you're opening up for players on sports teams, but you're not opening up for the rest who lost their jobs. And what about us? It's like, the mayor is only, is showing some favoritism, as according to some people.
Gotcha.
They're forgetting about, but I'll call it the regular people, the not so rich and famous.
The actual workers is what.
Right. The essential workers or whatnot. Why only somebody for them? What about us? What are we? Chopped liver? Well, maybe a little chopped liver.
Yeah. Like I said, I was going to ask you because you live close. You're in Jersey.
Close enough.
I wanted to bring that up and see what your thoughts were, being that close to.
Well, I think it's about time they lifted the mandate. I mean, it's been 2 years or anything, and most of the country has, of course, lifted their mandates and everything else in Canada and what else. So I think New York is long overdue. But the thing is, of course, since New York had the most cases, I think that's why they're being more cautious.
Yeah.
Why they had late, because they had the most cases, the most deaths than anybody in the country. New Jersey was like a close second or third behind. So I get the reason why for the delay. But it's been 2 years now, and there's always going to be cases of popping up with COVID, no matter what. But I think at a certain point you're going to have to just open up, because you just can't keep shutting down and masking up forever. I mean, that's not a realistic plan.
No, I agree with that.
I don't think it needed to take you 2 years to do it.
I agree with that. I can vouch for that.
See, the thing is, it doesn't matter. Okay, if you're vaccinated, fine, but it's the other people around you who are not vaccinated that might be the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what causes maybe to get more cases. Okay, you're vaccinated, but what about the people near you? Are they vaccinated? Maybe not. Or if you're in a crowd of people who you don't know, like at a sporting event, a concert, or whatever, you ain't fine. People ain't fine, but there's about 10, 20,000 people who might not be vaccinated, and that's how it comes.
Yeah, I
don't want you. It's anybody else.
Lou, I'll be honest with you, because I've got to go to some sporting events. Florida's been kind of relaxed down here. We're in the South, so we haven't been as strict on mask rules as a lot of the other states have.
Right.
But there are still people that I see, and you know what, and it's their right to do whatever they want to do. Mm-hmm. But there are still people that wear masks at hockey games and football games, even though a football game's outside.
That's the players, right?
Because they don't know. You're right. They don't know if the person next to them is vaccinated. Right. They don't know if the person next to them is asymptomatic. They don't know that. They don't know. I mean, it's a safety thing. I mean, again, I've had to wear a mask in the press box the last 2 years. I don't know if that's going to happen this year, this fall. I don't know. If it does, it does. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. But
everything should be back to normal.
I'll be at the spring game in a couple weeks. It's on the 9th, so I'll be.
New Jersey's okay, even though we got cases. But there's always going to be cases. But New Jersey's okay. We're not masking up. I mean, I went to the movies last week with a few friends, and we didn't wear masks, but no one even said anything about it. Nobody made a deal or anything. Didn't even ask vaccinated or whatnot. I mean, there's always going to be cases.
No, I never got.
But you got to go on living.
I agree.
And yet the theater was packed.
What did you see, Lou? The Batman. Good movie. I enjoyed the movie. I think it could have been a little shorter.
Yeah.
Would have made it a little bit better if it had been a little bit shorter. But it was good, though. The
Batman's wings.
It was good. So here, guys, are the NBA teams nobody wants to play power rankings. Again, this is by Ben Rohrabuck of Yahoo Sports. So here I'm going to give you, there's 15 of them. I'll start at 15, and it's the Lakers. That's who's at 15. Utah's at 14. Charlotte's at 13. You have Cleveland at 12. The Pelicans at 11. The Hawks at 10. The Clippers at 9. The Timberwolves at 8. The Bulls at 7. The Nuggets at 6, the Raptors at 5, the Grizz at 4, the Heat at 3, which there's a big fight. Did you see that fight between Jimmy Butler and the bench last night?
I heard.
Dallas Mavericks at 2, and then you have the Boston Celtics at 1. I don't know what that list means. Are those that they don't think?
Yeah, those starting from the team you'd most like to face versus the team that you'd least like to face.
Okay.
The Lakers are probably, the Lakers might not even get in. So I don't know if that's even relevant.
Well, have the Celtics been on fire as of late?
Oh, yeah. Turn it up the last.
Yes.
Have they? Okay.
Last 6 weeks.
But the Lakers, are just barely getting by. So I don't even know how you can even put that in. The team that wants to play. Well, it looks like a team that might even get there.
Right.
Yeah.
So
they might not.
I don't even know how this list even makes sense.
We're playing landing on you.
It looks like so far. So
here, I don't know what I'm talking about.
So the play-in starts April 12th. So we're about a couple weeks away from the play-in game starting. The playoffs are set to schedule to start on April 16th. And as if today everything started today, here is how the Western Conference would shake out. The play-in tournament would be between the Lakers and Pelicans. The winner then would host the loser of the Minnesota Timberwolves Clippers series. The winner of that series would play Memphis in round 2. The winner of the play-in and the loser of that series would play Phoenix in round 1. And then the 3-6 is Golden State Denver, and the 4-5 is Utah Dallas. That would all be good.
Yeah.
Both of those series would be good.
You did say the loser, of course.
Yeah, the loser of the 7-8 would play the winner of the 9-10, and then
loser bowl.
The winner of the Minnesota Clippers series will play the Memphis Grizzlies in round 1 of the playoffs. So that's how that would work out. And then the Eastern Conference, so far the play-in tournament is between the Hornets and the Hawks. And the other, then you have the 7-8 matchup of Toronto and Brooklyn. The loser of that series would play the winner of Charlotte-Atlanta. The winner of the Toronto-Brooklyn series would move on to play Philadelphia in round 1. The winner of the play-in series will play Miami in round 1. And then Boston plays Chicago. Ooh, Jesus.
Yeah.
That's a good series, 4-5. Yeah, Milwaukee and Cleveland playing the 3-6, and that's not a bad series either. Cavaliers are no joke this year. Cleveland's pretty good.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep. I mean, I don't watch a lot of NBA basketball, but I might watch some playoff basketball if those teams.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, these looks like good matchups. Can the Knicks get in there? I don't know.
Where are they at, Lou, right now? Are they on?
I believe 12.
Are they close?
They were 12 last week.
Well, I wouldn't. They're not exactly out of it yet, but they still need some ground to catch up.
Yeah.
They are. Let's see. Right now, they are only. Well, they're 5 games back of the 10 spot.
5.
Right now.
Doable. It's doable.
Atlanta's got 5 games up on
this late in the season now.
Yeah. Right now, the Knicks stand at 31-42.
Yeah.
They are 16-27 in the conference, 4-10 in the division, and 15-21 at home, and 16-21 on the road.
Not good. Not good.
No.
Not good at all.
At home, you're 6 games under 500. That's not good.
Right.
That's not good at Madison Square Garden, because that should be
They started out well at the beginning of the season, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to be 75% at home and 50-50 on the road.
Correct. Absolutely. Because that's where you should feel most comfortable winning games at home. That's where you have the advantage of the crowd, MSG and all that stuff. So yeah, I would think that would be.
You want to win about 7 out of 10 at home and 5 out of 10 on the road.
Right. Correct.
Right.
Yeah, that's your benchmark for being a good team. Is you want to win about 2/3 of the games at home and half your games on the road.
Right. Right. Correct. Yeah. And as of right now, the Spurs sit a game and a half out of the 10th spot with the Pelicans. So that's not too bad.
No.
And the Pelicans are only a half game behind the Lakers for the 9th spot. So that's how close those two teams are.
There's still things to be decided in the East.
How many games are left in the season?
Well,
47-26. That's 73. So what is there? 9 games left. 9 games left.
I mean, not everyone plays the same night, so some may have more, some may have less. It depends.
Yeah. Okay.
Somewhere between 11 and
baseball. Everybody plays 162. Well, most of the time, they all play around the same time.
Right.
They get like a few days off, but the NHL and NBA are a little bit more inconsistent.
Mm-hmm. There are a lot more off days during the season in the NHL and NBA.
Yes.
Does the NBA play every other day or every 2 days?
Every 2 days. Sometimes they play back to back, but on average, usually 2 to 3 days.
3 games a week.
3 games a week?
On average.
3 or 4 games a week, yeah. Okay. Like a lot of times you'll have a back-to-back on Friday and Saturday, or Thursday and Friday.
Yes.
And I'm
Friday
guessing
Saturday.
The cities won't be too far apart if you have a back-to-back game.
Right.
Maybe in New York, Boston, or LA, you play the Clippers.
New York, Philadelphia, New York, Boston.
Yeah.
We used to play Chicago a lot in back-to-back nights.
Yeah.
Back when we played Chicago.
Lakers, Clippers, Warriors, Clippers.
Or you'll be going on the road. So you might play, let's say Boston plays Philly on Thursday night. Then they'll play Detroit on Friday night because they're going on a road trip. So they'll play Philly, Detroit, Chicago, and Minnesota.
Okay.
And they play Philly on Thursday night, Detroit on Friday, and then they won't play again until Tuesday.
Okay.
So that's kind of how that.
That's a West Coast trip. You do get more days off.
Yeah.
Cool.
If you're going on a long road trip, you'll get an extra day or 2 in there.
Yeah,
you'll play Thursday night, and Detroit will have you'll have a lot of times what'll happen is you'll have back-to-back home games.
Yeah.
Detroit will play Thursday night against Pittsburgh, and then on Friday night they'll welcome Boston in because Boston's going on a road trip.
Mm-hmm.
So you get a lot of home, you got a back-to-back home games.
Yeah, so you guys said roughly there's probably about 9 to 11 games left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Depending on the team's schedule.
Yeah. And depending on COVID, how COVID's affecting your schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Some teams might have as many as 15 or 20 games left because of COVID rescheduling.
Right. Well, of course, the NHL got hit the hardest.
Yeah, the NHL got hammered. So there's a lot of teams that are probably, they just threw it away.
Which game you got?
Speaking of that, do you guys want to go there? Do you guys want to go there next? Speaking of the National Hockey League.
All right.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. Me, my big mouth.
No, you're fine. I mean, we can kind of lead into things like that. That's fine with me.
That's my favorite sport, man.
So again, the trading deadline had just happened earlier in the week.
Yeah.
So here are the NHL power rankings after the trade deadline. So let's see where they have these at. This is CBS Sports. So let's see.
Okay, that's legit.
How they have them ranked. Now, bear with me, guys, because this article was written back on the 23rd, so things could have changed.
Yesterday.
That was, yeah. They have the Avalanche at 1, the Florida Panthers at 2, the Calgary Flames at 3, the Bruins at 4, the Pittsburgh Penguins at 5, the Rangers at 6, the Lightning at 7, the Hurricanes at 8, the Maple Leafs at 9, the Wild at 10, the Capitals at 11, Edmonton Oilers at 12, Kings at 13, Predators at 14, Blues at 15, the Knights at 16, the Stars at 17, the Jets at 18, the Blue Jackets at 19, the Islanders at 20, the Canucks at 21, Montreal at 22, Phoenix at 23, the Blackhawks at 24, the Red Wings at 25, Sabres at 26, the Flyers at 27, the Kraken at 28, the Ducks at 29, the Sharks, Senators, Devils round out the bottom 3. So that's how they had it. So they have the Devils at the worst after the trade deadline. Worst rankings go.
Sorry, Diane.
So the Devils are at the bottom of that list.
At the bottom.
She's a Devil. Oh wait, no, different girl, right?
Yeah, she's a Devils fan.
And she's not the same girl that's a Bills fan, right?
She's a Bills fan and a Devils fan.
How does that even work?
She got the Bills from somebody she used to work with.
But didn't she grow up in New York? Didn't she grow up in the city?
She grew up in New Jersey.
So she grew up in Jersey and she roots for the Bills?
She got it from a coworker. Not me.
Does she have to wear a bag when she goes out?
No.
Oh my God!
Trying to let her
my God!
I'm glad you're not hearing this.
Oh my God!
Good night, folks. My love life was made now.
Oh my God! Oh Jesus! Now I'm not saying that I was having a bad day. I had an interesting conversation before I got on the show, and I will get into that later off the air. But that made me laugh. That made my day right. That made my night right. That made.
Well, I've been thinking about it. I've been thinking about it since last week when we were talking about it last week. It's like, didn't she grow up in the city? How is she a Bills fan?
She got that from she got that from her coworker. She got the Devils from here.
Right.
Surprised that she's not a Giants fan. That's shocking in football. Being here from New Jersey,
yeah,
you're usually a Giants fan. I'm surprised that.
Well, she didn't always get into football.
Okay.
She got into football later on.
That came later.
I've been a sports nut forever. I love sports.
Bye-bye.
I love competition.
Well, I mean,
much.
It doesn't. Let it be. That's power. The power rankings can change week to week. So,
day to day, man.
I mean,
backed
up in the top, 20 in a matter of a day or two. So,
yeah.
So here, according to the Hockey News, here are the teams that did not do enough at the NHL trade deadline. So these are the teams that they have ranked. Okay. Number 1 is the Edmonton Oilers.
Mm-hmm.
Number 2 is the Toronto Maple Leafs. Number 3 is the Devils.
Okay.
Number 4 is the Vegas Golden Knights.
Right.
So those were the 4 teams that Hockey News said that could have done a little bit better at the trade deadline. I mean, I can vouch for the Leafs, who badly needed a goaltender and didn't get one. So that was their biggest,
Like the Dodgers and the Devils too, which are becoming a trash heap.
Well, I don't think it's so hard because want in one hand, shit in the other, and see which one fills up faster.
Right.
You can want all you want, and you can go and you can call whoever you want to call. You can talk to whoever you want to talk to. But if you can't make a deal, you can't make a deal. Mm-hmm. And it's not worth.
Yeah.
If it doesn't make sense, if it doesn't get your team to a point to wherever you want to be, wherever you're trying to get to.
Mm-hmm.
If you're trying to build for the future, if you want draft capital, or if you're looking for a win now guy, and you call X, Z, whatever, whoever,
mm-hmm.
and they don't give you a package that's going to make sense for your team, then there's nothing you can do. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what all of us nerds who love this shit talk about.
And we are nerds.
Mm-hmm. And we can sit here until we're, why didn't they call this? Why didn't they do this? Why didn't they do that? Well, maybe they tried, but it couldn't get a deal done.
Right.
You can say, well, why didn't he call? Why didn't he do this? Why didn't he do that? Why? Well, maybe he did. You don't know.
Right.
And if they were asking, if they wanted a king's ransom for a third line guy, screw them. I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you 2 picks in a cherry pie for whoever I'm wanting or whatever you're offering. I'm not giving up. New Jersey giving up 2 picks and a prospect for a goalie. We need goalie help, but we also need picks and prospects. So, there's no point in making deals if they're not going to make any financial sense.
Yeah, you don't mortgage away your future for a rental player,
especially when you're not close.
Mm-hmm. You don't mortgage away your future when you have a chance to build a team.
No.
Compared to especially when you're not close. I see all 3 of those teams, or 3 out of the 4 teams, as being teams that are not close.
Yeah.
Well, what do you if you go out and you trade away let's say New Jersey trades away Adam what's his name? Hughes. Let's say they dealt him to somebody at the deadline. Let's say they sent him to Pittsburgh for 3 picks and 2 prospects. It's gonna be Adam Hughes is getting ready to emerge as a potential superstar.
Yes.
And if you give him up, you send him somewhere else. Let's say and then you have to draft 3 new players, and hope the 2 prospects you got turn into decent players.
Right.
There's no. It's not a trade-off. It is a trade-off. And if Adam Hughes turns into a 40-40 guy, an 80-point, 100-point guy, then why didn't you trade him? Why'd you trade him? Well, we should have never dealt him. Especially when the 2 prospects you got turn into nothing, and the 3 guys you draft can't even figure out which end of the stick is up.
Yeah.
So damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Well, if you can't tell which end of the stick is up, you're really in trouble.
Exactly.
And you call yourself a hockey player. Which thing is this? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
People call me stupid.
Well, I mean, you look at the Knights. This could be the first time in franchise history that they don't make the playoffs.
Right.
On the out there, they are on the cusp of missing the postseason for the first time in their franchise history.
Yeah.
You dealt Marc-Andre Fleury away, and now he's now playing in Minnesota.
Yeah.
He didn't want to go, and he didn't want to go to Toronto. He told Toronto Edmonton both, "I'm not coming to Canada because his family lives, in Chicago. I'm not coming there. I'm not going to play in Canada."
Yeah, and that's the other thing that that we that these writers and fans don't think about is the logistics of moving somebody.
Mm-hmm.
You have to one trade can make or break a team,
especially at the end of the year. There's 2 weeks left in the regular season, and now Dad's going to be gone to Minnesota for the next 2 weeks, and figuring out a place for you to stay up in Minnesota, figuring out if Minnesota you're going to end up staying in Minnesota, moving your whole family up there.
Yeah.
It's not just a simple matter of, okay, now I play here. There's a whole lot of stuff, and there's a whole lot more than just, well, I'm in Minnesota now, that goes into making a deal.
Right.
That people don't think about. It's just, well, why didn't we go out and sign this guy? Why didn't we call this guy? Why didn't we do this? Like, how do you know they didn't? Are you in that? Are you in the meeting rooms? Are you in the locker room? Are you hearing this? Are you up in the GM's office? Well, what's your source for this? We didn't. We didn't what? How do you know we didn't?
Yeah, I think it'd be kind of cool.
I called so-and-so's agent and he laughed at me, so I hung up.
Yeah.
Like when Buffalo was trying to offload Jack Eichel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, well, why didn't my team go and try and get him? How do you know they didn't?
I also think too, but with him, I think he had a no trade clause in his contract.
Right.
Yes, he did.
So he can tell them.
So he had to waive his no trade clause.
Right.
For a team.
Or he could tell them, hey, I don't want to be traded here.
Yep.
So find another team, and then the Knights can. Okay, I'll go to Vegas. Trade me.
Right.
I'll go to Vegas.
It's not just a simple matter of there's so much stuff that has to be done before, during, and after a trade.
Mm-hmm.
To make it feasible. There has to be a logical reason to deal a guy.
Do you think that it's the most compelling trade deadline of all of them? Is the NHL one?
In recent memory, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've always thought that the NHL trade deadline is better than anyone.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, I think with the NFL, I mean that starts right away in the beginning of the season.
And I think that there are very few trades during the regular NFL season anyway. So
right.
There are.
Out of all the major sports, I think the NHL trade deadline is the best. I think more the NFL free agency is always more compelling than the trade deadline.
Right.
Absolutely.
I think there's a lot more. A lot of teams, there's so few guys that can be moved at the trade deadline in the NFL that are going to make a lick of sense of getting rid of or keeping.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's the biggest problem with the NFL is having guys that are movable at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Because let's say Detroit's not any good next season, still, and they're looking to move Penny Swell at the end of the at the trade deadline. But what are you going to get in return for him? And then you're going to have to find somebody to fill his spot, and he's an important piece. Most everybody who's going to get traded is either going to get traded before this, now during free agency, or at the start of the preseason,
mm-hmm.
or in the preseason, when guys are down hurt,
right.
When somebody's out hurt in the preseason, when somebody gets hurt and is going to miss significant time, that's when I think Cleveland will hold on to Baker Mayfield for another couple of months and wait and see what happens in preseason.
Mm-hmm. Until someone needs a quarterback. As of right now, no one wants him. So,
and no one really needs him.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, but with the Lightning, the two deals that they made, bringing in Brandon Hagel from the Blackhawks, we're probably going to lose Andre Palat to free agency next year. We don't have enough money to re-sign him. So he's another Palat type guy. Mm-hmm. He wins faceoffs. He plays well on the power play and the penalty kill. So he'll fit in that role he's only getting paid $1.5 million for the next 3 or 4 years. So sometimes as a GM, you can land deals like that.
Right.
You can get guys like that to come in and replace the guys you're going to lose. If you're a dumb general manager, you wage the farm away for a rental guy in hopes that you pull the Rams right last year. You get every damn free agent and hopes that it turns into a Super Bowl championship, which it did for the Rams. Let's say that blew up in their face and they didn't make it to the Super Bowl. Now what do? You waged away all your first-round picks, and now you have no future because unless you get your picks back, but good luck getting a first-round pick back.
Yeah.
So, in any league, for anything that matter.
Yeah.
So once you trade those away, you usually don't get them back. But yeah, I think the trade deadline in the National Hockey League is a spectacle all by itself. I know my roommate took the day off that day. He stayed home and was in his pajamas all day in front of his laptop. He's got his cell phone on, watching NHL Network. He had it all, telling me every trade that went down. He was texting me at work, like, "Yeah, this trade went down." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." Like, you know more about hockey than I do, so I don't know what you're talking about. You know more about it than I do, but
I think the best move was Marc-Andre Fleury to the Wild.
Yes. Yeah. I'm glad that he accepted the trade. Obviously, being in Minneapolis is not far from Chicago, so
right.
He'll see his family very close. I think too now he has a chance of getting to the postseason again because the Water are going to get to the playoffs. Another chance to win a Stanley Cup. And wouldn't that be something? I mean, nothing. I would obviously hope the Lightning do a three-peat, but to see the Wild win a Stanley Cup, that would be cool. One of the teams that I think hasn't won it since they were the North Stars.
Never won it.
Okay, so there you go. That would be cool.
Think of the final 91 with them, despite a lousy regular season record, they still went there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Minnesota's never won a title.
No.
They were in Dallas when they won when Dallas won its
Stanley Cup.
What a game that was.
That was the infamous Buffalo.
He was in the crease, and we all know it.
And of course, Hasha was cursing Czechoslovakia when the game was over. Yeah, I couldn't understand what he said, but still.
Don't really think you need a translator, though.
No, I think not. We can't say it on this show.
Well, most of it.
Yeah.
So March Madness is into the Sweet 16.
Yep.
There's 2 live games going on right now. Arkansas is up over Gonzaga 56-50 with 6:46 left in the game.
Uh-oh.
Villanova is up 47-39 over Michigan with 8:31 left in the game.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of time. 8:31 is a lot of time in basketball, especially college basketball.
But when you're the number 1 seed and you're losing, that's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't Gonzaga the number 1 overall?
Yes. Yeah, they're down 6 right now to Arkansas.
Yeah.
Well, there goes Tennessee. They're out. So my pick is done for the tournament. Damn it.
Yeah.
Anybody have Kentucky?
We watched Kentucky go down last week.
Mm-hmm.
They're playing. Speaking of St. Peter's, they're playing Purdue tomorrow. You think they got a shot at going to the Elite Eight?
No.
Why not?
No.
Why not?
It's Purdue, man.
They're the 3 seed. Purdue's a 3 seed.
Yeah. But why not?
No, Purdue's too strong. I mean, this is where you separate the men from the boys. I mean, Purdue is, I think it looks too tough against St. Peter's.
Arkansas is up by 7 points with 6:04 left. The later games, you have Texas Tech against Duke and Houston against Arizona. Who do you boys like in both of those games?
I like Arizona.
Duke and Arizona.
Duke and Arizona? Okay.
What was the first one again?
Duke and Texas Tech.
Duke.
Yeah, Duke and then Arizona.
And then tomorrow night you have the St. Peter's Peacocks against Purdue, Providence against Kansas, North Carolina against UCLA. That's a battle of the blue bloods right there. Yeah. And then Iowa State and Miami. Wow, the Miami Hurricanes. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Well, I had K-State or the Jayhawks. Kansas is my national champion, so I'll take Kansas.
Okay.
Your choice.
What were the other ones?
Yeah, St. Peter's versus Purdue.
St. Pete.
North Carolina, UCLA.
And North Carolina.
And then you have Iowa State, Miami.
I like Iowa State.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Iowa State
Cyclones. The Cyclones?
I had the Jayhawks winning it all anyway, so.
Right.
That's got to be an over the back. Come on.
Yeah, I have on the Nova game right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take the Cinderella against Purdue. Kansas, I think, will roll Providence. Nothing against them. I'm gonna you know what? I'm gonna go and take North Carolina over UCLA. I think the Tar Heels. And then you know what? I'm gonna be the homer here. I'm gonna take Miami, even though I'm not a Hurricanes fan. I like what they're doing. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm gonna be a homer and take the hometown team and take Miami. So with that in mind, okay. So now these teams. So there's going to be 2 games on Saturday, and then 2 games on Sunday. Is that right? Yeah. Okay.
That will determine the Final Four.
The Final Four then are on Saturday, April 2nd, with the national championship being April 4th. So we can talk about that the week.
It'll be next Thursday.
Next Thursday, we can talk about the Final Four.
Yep.
And the following week, we can
recap
the whole damn tournament at that point.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. This one's over.
Are you watching the Michigan game, bud?
Yeah.
They're down 6 with 8:08 left. Is that right?
It's 8.
It's 8? Okay.
Yeah, 49-41.
And Gonzaga's down 6 to Arkansas. Wow. Who would have thought that Arkansas would be one of the top teams in the SEC? I would have thought that.
After Auburn, with the way Auburn started, you would think that Auburn was going to be the team to beat. And then Alabama came on strong, and they're both already out.
There's only one SEC team left. They're the only ones left. Arkansas, the SEC team left.
Yeah.
As far as Big Ten, there's 2 left? 2 left? Michigan. There is the ACC. You've got 1, 2, 3. 3
Miami, Duke, and NC, and UNC.
Yeah, North Carolina, Duke, and Miami are all in the ACC. And then you have the Big 12. You have Kansas, Texas. Iowa State are the 2 in the Big 12.
No, Texas Tech.
I'm sorry, they're in the Big 12 as 2. Okay.
And Iowa State is.
They're a Big 12. They're a Big 12 team too. I think they are. I could be wrong. I know they are in football. I don't know what they are in basketball, but I know in football they're a Big 12 team, which makes hell of a no sense when Iowa is there. They're in the Big 10, so that's interesting. And UCLA and Arizona are the Pac-12. Houston's the AAC. Where's Gonzaga? Is Gonzaga in the Pac-12 too in basketball? Or are they?
I think they're
the WAC.
WAC? The WAC conference?
Yeah.
And where does Villanova? Is Villanova in the Big 10?
Big East.
The Big East. The Big East. Okay. Does anybody know where Providence plays?
That's also in the Big East.
Big East as well? The Providence Friars? Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that is how breaks down. 7 points with 7:51 left. And Arkansas is up 6 with 3:48 to go. Number 1 overall seed in the tournament could be eliminated in the next 3+ minutes. Wow. Interesting. Hey, you know what, though? Honestly.
That's why they play the games.
Yep, absolutely. And then it looks like the women's Sweet 16 is Ohio State versus Texas, North Carolina versus South Carolina. That's interesting. You have Creighton versus Iowa State. Maryland, Stanford. UCF lost to Connecticut. And North Carolina lost to Arizona. I'm sorry, beat Arizona. My apologies. I read that backwards. So they are now the Sweet 16 starts tomorrow. So here's how it breaks down for them. Ohio State plays Texas, and North Carolina plays South Carolina at 7 o'clock. The two 9:30 games are Creighton, Iowa State, and Maryland, Stanford. Then Saturday, the Sweet 16 games are Notre Dame versus NC State, Indiana versus UConn, Tennessee versus Louisville. There's a battle at Tennessee. And then you have South Dakota. They have to be the Cinderellas. They will face Michigan. So, wow, both women's and men's Michigan teams were both in the Sweet 16. Nice. That's got to be nice to know. Have both programs being represented in the in their respective Sweet 16s. That's cool. That's cool. And they'll have their Elite 8 games will start on Sunday and Monday. Friday is their national championship is on April 3rd. Sunday, April 3rd. Their Final Four begins on April 1st. So April Fool's Day, next Friday, is when they have their Final Four. The Final Four teams will be left at that point. All right, so we have about an hour to go, and we could talk about the National Football League because there's a lot going on with the trade deadline and everything. We can dive into that. What are you guys' thoughts on Matt Ryan being traded to the Colts?
Good deal.
For a third-round pick.
Yeah, it's a lot. They got a lot of value for a 14-year veteran.
Yeah. Though my friends in Atlanta are not happy about that.
Why, you got Marcus Mariota.
Yeah, but Ryan, also, was a big part of that. And, was also on that Super Bowl team as well, which choked.
Yeah, they. I mean, Lewis, I'll be dead honest with you. I was at a friend's house watching that Super Bowl, and I wanted to go home at halftime. And my friend, who was not a Patriot or Falcons fan, said, "No, you need to sit down. Magic's about to happen." I said, "Bullshit. We're down by 25. It's over. Kind of done." And lo and behold, I sat back down, and here comes Hightower, Dante Hightower, around the side, strips Matt Ryan, and the dominoes fell into place. Because after that, it was all Patriots from that point on.
Well, don't forget, the balls were deflated after that. So that's Tom. I got to deflate the footballs. Yeah, right.
I hope Matt Ryan does well in Indianapolis.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine in Indy. I think he'll be good in Indy.
How about Tyree Gill going to the Dolphins?
It came with the Jets, but Miami came up with better offer, so it was another loss for us.
You can't win for losing.
Supposedly, from what I heard, the Chiefs offered him the same contract the Dolphins did.
Yeah,
he turned it down and went to Miami. So obviously, there must be some risk.
Well, he's from Miami.
He is. That's his hometown.
Okay, he wanted to go home.
Wanted to go home. Yeah, I wanted to go home.
And nothing wrong with that.
No, I think it's a good. I mean, I think both teams really won.
Yeah, I think at the end of the day. Oh, we didn't talk baseball. I guess we could talk baseball after this. I think that's a good deal. Obviously, speaking of Lou, as soon as the trade was made for Deshaun Watson, Betty messaged me on Facebook. She's like, we got him. We got Deshaun Watson. I'm like, you did? We did. I'm like, well, good. I hope he does well in Cleveland. I hope he does well in Cleveland.
I got too upset by that, Betty. I'm sorry.
We were just talking about Baker Mayfield, so I thought I would, bring that up.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you know why Cleveland's called the mistake on the lake.
I don't know.
And there's another reason why.
I think that Mayfield, that Cleveland's going to hold on to Mayfield until the preseason.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it has to do with Watson's all extracurricular issues.
You mean your so-called extracurricular activities off the field?
Yeah, if something happens there and they need a quarterback, well, they've got one in the room. So I think that's a lot of why they're holding on to Mayfield. Between that and there's nobody that needs a quarterback right now.
Yeah.
I mean Seattle, but I mean
Carolina.
if you're gonna have to spend a lot of your draft capital to get Mayfield from Cleveland, and then that at that point defeats the purpose of the Wilson deal.
Right.
So I kind of think that Seattle is probably just going to stick with Drew Lock. I think everybody else is pretty well set.
Well, the only team that I could say that might make a move for him would be Carolina, but other than that, no.
And
they might stick.
I've heard that they don't want him. So I can't see anybody else making a deal for him.
Yeah.
Oof, I am tired.
I was gonna say, it looks like the Jaguars, they have the number 1 overall pick. I was going through drafts the other day, and it looks like the first offensive player they don't have until like the 7th or 8th pick. There's a lot of the number 1 overall pick is the kid from Michigan.
Yeah,
he's been. Yeah. I saw a lot of mock drafts that have the Jaguars taking him number 1 overall in the draft.
Right. I don't know. We'll see.
That was one of the things I wanted to bring up, that he was on a lot of. Now again,
I think he's gonna be a good one. But yeah, I think they will realize quickly that you can't single him up.
Mm-hmm.
I expect him to need some tuning. I don't think he'll come out of the gate with 15 sacks or anything crazy like that. But I think in 3 years he's going to be a great piece.
You don't think he'll come out of the blocks with the raw talent that he has and be an player right away?
I think he'll need a year or two to adjust to the speed of the NFL.
Okay. And before we go to baseball, I was told by a good friend of mine that the Denver Broncos stadium is on fire.
It was burning earlier.
Yeah, caught on fire. It looks like there was flames seen inside suite seats. I don't know if there was a fire, electrical fire, or what there was.
There was flames everywhere.
Yeah,
not sure what happened. They didn't pay the no fire bill, so.
The Lightning are in Detroit on Saturday at noon.
Yep.
Wow.
I just saw that.
Afternoon, top of the buck.
Yeah. I will probably be at work this Saturday.
Well, yeah. So, let's hope they can get that fire and there's not too much damage. Obviously, we're a long way from the field being needed anyway.
No. Yeah, but it depends on what kind of damage, how hot that fire was, and if there was any structural damage. You know, they could be scrambling
to find out to open the season up.
Yeah. Hey, at least it happened now and not at the end of August when we're 4 days from. It's 4 days before opening day, and now, and of course, this would happen. If I was to schedule, it'd be my luck is that 4 days before opening day, and I had scheduled 3 Broncos home games in the first 3 weeks. Their stadium catches fire.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Yeah.
It's a bad omen. Bad omen.
Yeah.
Right.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah.
So baseball, again, there's also been some trades moved there.
Already.
I wanted to bring up something that the Red Sox will be honoring late great Jerry Remy. They'll be wearing a JR patch on their uniform for their beloved player and announcer for many, many years.
Yes.
I don't recognize that name.
I do.
They'll be wearing JR on their jersey for the for the foreseeable future. There was an article that came out today, guys. I'm gonna let you guys guess this. It's Forbes did a list of the most valuable MLB franchises. So let me ask you who you think the most profitable franchise is.
Yankees are one.
Yankees.
Okay. Now let me ask you this question: how much do you think that team is worth?
$5.5 billion.
You said 5.5. Go ahead, Lou.
4.5.
How about 6?
You were closer.
$6 billion on the dot. $6 billion.
I didn't realize it had gone that high. Last I knew it was 5.5.
Yeah, that organization is
worth
$6 billion. Who do you think number 2 is?
Dodgers.
The Dodgers, correct. And where do you think they vary in that worth?
4.48.
They're at 4.75.
Okay, we're even because you said 4. I said 4.4. You said point. So
yeah,
we're pretty even.
Yeah, I thought it was the same. Hell yeah.
Who's number 3 on the list?
The number
Red Sox.
The Boston Red Sox. Where do the Red Sox rank?
3.9.
Exactly, 3.9 billion. Correct. And number 4 is the Chicago Cubs at $3.8 billion. Yeah.
And then 5th is
Philadelphia.
The Philadelphia Phillies. Correct. Okay. But you know who else made the list too? Down in the 2 billion range is the Mets. The Mets are on that list. The Mets made the list.
Yeah, I can see that.
The Braves. I think the Braves round out the top 10 or top 8. I think in the league.
I hope so. Yeah, since they won the World Series last year, so yeah.
Right. It does surprise me that they're up there.
Yeah.
So what's the at the bottom? Are the Miami Marlins at the bottom?
I don't know who. It doesn't go all the way down the list, but of what every team is worth, because I'm assuming that the Tampa Bay Rays are near the bottom of that list too.
Yeah,
I can imagine.
$1.50.
1.5 billion.
More than what I thought.
No, I'm that's a guess. I'm just saying I don't know. I don't know how much the franchise is worth.
$2.50.
Let me see if I can find out what the worth of the Rays is. Hang on a minute.
Yeah, the Marlins aren't worth jack.
I'll look up the Marlins too.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Tampa Bay Rays currently sit as of last year at $1.55 billion. So just over $1.5 billion is for the Rays. The Miami Marlins. Let's see. Marlins.
$5
worth. They are wow. I'm gonna give you okay. I'll let you guys guess how much they're worth.
Okay,
doesn't say here.
I'll say $1.1 billion.
How about $990 million? They're not even worth $1 billion. That franchise.
Not surprised.
Yeah, that was Miami, right?
Miami. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They are 990. According to Forbes, the team is worth $990 million, but that's a drop from an estimated $1.2 billion that the team was bought for between the Sherman Group, which included Derek Jeter in 2007.
Jeter stepped down now.
He did. Correct.
A couple weeks ago. Oh, this shirt sucks.
Yeah.
Let me look. I'm curious now. I don't know why I'm looking up this franchise, but I'm just curious on what they're worth. What are the Royals worth? Are they worth? They're $1.6 billion. Okay, they're in the billion category.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So they're in the. They're in the vat. Okay, let's see if it tells me. It tells me all of the. It gives me the ranking here. The Royals ranked 28th out of 30 MLB teams. Forbes value the Royals at $1.6 billion. The Rays. Well, the Royals, the Rays, and the Marlins are the 3 lowest worth teams in MLB.
Worth or worthless?
Yeah, 28th, 29th, and 30th. So
yeah.
That's what it is. Well, and think about that. All 3 of those teams have issues with paying their players. when they got traded them away because they can't afford to pay them. Pay them, so they lose them. So and then so that's that about makes sense. And again, I don't know what the ownership is like in Kansas City. I don't cheer for the Royals. No,
they're notoriously cheap.
Cheap.
Okay. He's been the knock on them for 25 years. They're cheap bastards.
Oh, they won a World Series in 2015.
Yeah. They're cheap.
Yeah, but what have you done for me lately?
Well, true. I'm just saying that they did win a World Series in 2015. So
yeah, they won that title, but then they dumped down the salary.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and the Marlins have done that too twice. The Marlins have done that twice. They won a World Series and then dumped the following year. They dumped every player to get down back. Be cheap, like you said, be cheap. So I know the Rays are cheap because of how.
That's why.
So
that's why. Jim Leland left Miami in '97 because he didn't want to be part of a rebuild.
Yeah,
he told them he was going to cut. He got the guys he wanted. He said, "I'll stay here as long as they stay here."
Right.
And they dumped every bit of salary they had, traded all those guys away, and Leland walked away.
Yeah.
And it plays into the lockout or the whatever the hell that was, work stoppage. Because the owners are notoriously cheap. They don't want to pay anybody anything.
Yeah.
They just want to play. They want them to play for peanuts while they rake in billions of dollars.
Do you guys think that there should be a salary floor in baseball?
I do.
Oh yeah.
I don't think a floor would do a whole hell of a lot more than a
cap. And a cap.
Time.
Because with the way that baseball is, with the Yankees and the Red Sox and the Dodgers, neither one of those teams or the Mets, neither one of those teams was gonna want a cap.
No.
Yeah.
Because a cap will mean that they can't. But the problem with the cap is that unlike other sports where being cheap isn't good, where you can't if you're an NFL owner and you're a cheap bastard, it doesn't do you any good. Or if you're an owner of a hockey team or a basketball team, being cheap doesn't do you any good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but more money doesn't buy you. I mean, more money is not going to make you, win a championship, though.
But a salary floor will keep them from spending nothing.
Right.
Whereas a salary cap, you don't have to spend with a salary floor or a salary minimum. You have to pay a certain amount. With a salary cap, you don't have to pay any more. You can't pay any more than the salary cap.
Right.
And with a salary minimum or a salary floor where you can't spend under a certain amount.
Mm-hmm.
It forces your cheap teams to still have to pay. It forces your cheap teams to have to pay. Yeah, so some of the talent's gonna end up in New York and Boston and LA, but some of the talent's gonna end up in Miami and Tampa Bay and Kansas City. Kansas City's actually gonna have to spend money on keeping good players,
along with the Oakland A's as well.
Yeah, the A's who spent nothing in free agency.
Yeah.
So as much as it is, I would rather see a salary floor where the teams that pay nothing have to have a, because then you're incentivized to go ahead and sign that guy who you were gonna let walk to the Yankees or the Red Sox or the.
I'll be honest with you guys. I'm surprised that didn't come up in the CBA.
Right.
With you, but I would say this. You'd have probably, I wouldn't say a majority of the ownership, but a minority would disagree with that salary floor. That would be the Rays, the Marlins, the Royals, the A's.
Yeah.
The small market teams, the Twins, teams like that don't spend a lot of money. and now you're going to force them to spend so much money on payroll.
Right.
They won't like that. They're not going to like that. Period. Here are some. This is MLB.com.
Okay.
Thomas Harrigan of MLB.com. These are the six teams. Don't sleep on these 6 teams as playoff contenders. Starting with the Miami Marlins, he has them up 15 wins from last season. He has them projected to finish the season 82-80. Last year they finished 67-95. So that's what he has them projected.
Okay, that's a lot more wins than I would have thought.
He has the Mets with plus 13 wins. Last year 77-85. This year 90-70.
Yeah, I think the Mets are going to be better.
Okay. With Scherzer, I would have to say I agree with that.
Yeah.
He has the San Diego Padres plus 9 wins from 79-83 last year to 88-74 this year. So he has that going on.
I agree.
The Minnesota Twins up 8 wins from last year, 73-89 to 81-81 record, finishing right at 500.
Okay.
So that's how he has the Twins to finish this year, because Carlos Correa is a Twin now. So
correct.
That'll help. He has the Phillies plus 6 wins from 82-80 last year to 88-74 this year. So that's interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last team he has is the Angels, up 5 wins from last year, 77-85 to 82-80 this year, with Ohtani and Mike Trout and Anthony Rendon as the top 3 players there as well. So I'm interested to see if you guys agree with that, disagree with those picks, or
no, I agree.
Yeah.
Agree with that.
Yeah. Okay. And it looks like, from what I read, I thought that they were going to get rid of the automatic runner at second base. It looks like that they are going to keep that.
Keep it. I wish they would.
I think they are going to keep it. I think the rule change happened the other day. This is from ESPN.com.
Yeah.
Keep it.
The last of those changes will make it a lot easier for the Los Angeles Angels to keep Shohei Ohtani bat in the lineup. The new rules, first reported by New York Post, won't be official until the owners ratify them. The rosters will expand from the 26 to 28 from April 7th through May 1st to account for the shorter spring training that followed the 99-day owner-imposed lockout. Let's see. The new designated hitter rule is planned for life. The collective bargaining agreement, which runs through 2026. Yes, it looks like they're going to bring the runner back, according to what I've read.
I like that.
Yep, looks like they're going to. So again, I thought that rule was gone, but it's not gone. Let me real quick, guys. I'm gonna share the article about Jerry Remy and what the patches look like that the Red Sox will be wearing this year. Hang on just a second. Like I said, Jerry Remy was he played for the Red Sox, and then he was the announcer for
well respected.
Long time. Red Sox. That's what they're going to look like right there. Remy 2, that was his number. He played for the Red Sox. I used to like to listen to him and Don Orsillo. Obviously, Don has gone to the Padres, and Jerry was struggling. I know there were games he did last year, but there was a lot of games that when he was in the booth, he had to leave for health issues and health reasons. So, I think it was one of those like long, it's like it was coming. I think we could all see it. He passed away at 68 from cancer. So again, these are the patches that the Red Sox will wear this year. I know the Red Sox did sign Trevor Story as well.
Yeah.
He'll move to second base because Xander Bogaerts plays short. So they'll move him over to play second. So that should be interesting. But I was going to say, guys, I mean, the season hasn't started yet. Do we go and try to make early projections, maybe just for fun.
You could.
You want to go division by division and go through and see. Yeah, we can go through and let's go through and go through the divisions real quick and pick who we think 1 through 5 will be. So let's see here.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Oh, why is it's my chair apart. Let's see here. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna go back to last year because all they're giving me is spring training, and they won't give me the leagues in general. Okay, so we can. What do you guys want to start? You want to start in the American League or National League?
We'll start
American League.
American League. Okay.
East.
The East
Sure.
again. That's Rays, Red Sox, Yankees, Blue Jays, Orioles.
Well, you can count out the Orioles. I mean, their season's almost over anyway. So
Right.
Okay, so Baltimore. I think we can all unanimously agree they're going to be number 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Their season's over the day spring training ends. So although I'm a Yankee fan, I am a Yankee fan, but I think you got to watch out for the Rays because they've been playing some dangerous ball against us, in of course recent years. So I may have to go with the Rays here.
Okay.
I'm kind of thinking Tampa, New York, Boston, and
Toronto.
Yeah.
I like that. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be a 4-team race for the. I really do. I think Toronto's good enough to hang with the Yankees, the Red Sox, and the Rays. So it should be an interesting division outside of Baltimore, obviously.
Watch them all lose.
Gonzaga's out. Arkansas beat them. So they're out. So, yeah, I mean, I think that division will be very tight all season.
Right.
Down to it.
I think you could see one team running away with it.
Go ahead. No, I don't either, but I don't think that I don't. Well, I mean, who would you
I can see one team running away with the division.
Go ahead.
I could see one team running like Boston, New York, Tampa Bay, winning the division by 8 games.
Okay.
But the other two, those being 2 of the 3 wild card teams, if not all 3.
Okay. All right. The Central guys is the White Sox, the Guardians, the Tigers, the Royals, and the Twins.
Oh. Sox won.
Sox, okay.
Minnesota, Detroit.
Okay.
Cleveland and Cincinnati, or Cleveland and Kansas City, or toss-up.
Toss-up, okay.
I think I'm going to go with the Twins.
Twins? Okay.
Yeah.
I think the
It's a stupid name.
The Guardians?
What a stupid name. Yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy. Mm-hmm.
It's a good movie. Good Marvel team.
Wins. Yes.
I think Chicago. I think the White Sox win the division. I think Minnesota has a bounce back year. I could see Chicago, Minnesota, Detroit, and then it's a toss up between the Guardians and Detroit at the bottom. Yeah.
And I could see Detroit. I could see Detroit being either, I can see them being anywhere from 2 to 5 too. So.
Okay.
And that's not just my bias talking. It's just, when it comes to baseball, when my team's not good, I can admit my team's not good. I just don't think. I think we're good. I think we'll surprise a lot of people, and I think we'll push.
Yeah.
I think we'll push Minnesota and Chicago. I just don't know if we can hang with Boston or New York or Tampa Bay. Okay. I think we can hang with the division. I think we'll be there. I think that it's gonna come down to the last week of the year.
Well, I mean, but they were only 8 games under 500 last year. That's not bad.
Right. I see us being much better this year than we were last year. So, I think that we give Minnesota and Chicago a run for their money, but I think at the end of the day that they just should prove to be too much. And I don't think we have a shot at the wild card. I think the wild card is going to be the two losers of the AL East, I should say.
And then the West guys is Houston, Seattle, Oakland, the Angels, and the Rangers.
I'm gonna go with Seattle.
The Mariners, okay.
Forget Oakland. They don't know who they are.
I have Houston, Angels, A's, Rangers, Mariners.
Okay. All right. I mean, I'll say Houston. I'm gonna say Houston, Seattle. I'll take the Angels, the A's, and then I'll take the Rangers in last. I don't know. I mean, they did get Corey Bellinger, but we'll see how the Rangers do. We'll see how they obviously their run differential last year was minus 190, so they got to pick up offensive numbers.
Good call.
If they're gonna,
they also got to start people from scoring too.
Right. The National League East is the Braves, Phillies, Mets, Marlins, Nationals.
Oh, that's gonna be a tough division.
Yeah.
Braves, Mets, Phillies.
Braves.
I would say I agree with that. Braves,
Mets, Phillies. Nationals. This is a 15-man division.
Miami.
And then, of course, Miami. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would say that. I'd say Atlanta, the Mets, the Phils. I'm going to put Miami ahead of Washington, but just barely. Just barely. But yeah. I think the Mets take a step up, obviously, getting Max Scherzer. I think that's
I like the Mets to take a step forward.
The Phillies are going to be the interesting team in that division.
Yeah, the Phillies are very interesting. They can very easily, if everybody stays healthy, they can very easily steal that division.
Right. The NL Central is the Brewers, Cardinals, Reds, Cubs, and the Pirates.
Cardinals,
Brewers, Reds. No, Cubs, Reds, Pirates.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it'll be the Cardinals, Brewers, Reds, Cubs, and then the Pirates will be in the basement again this year.
Well, I think 3 through 5 in that division is interchangeable.
Yeah. And then the NL West is the Giants, Dodgers, Padres, Rockies, Diamondbacks.
With Freddie Freeman and Lamb Dyer, I think they're gonna, make a big run.
Dodgers roll, and then it's a battle for the bottom.
Okay. I think it's going to be a battle of the Giants and the Dodgers again this year.
Yeah, and then it's a race to the bottom from there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Between San Diego, Colorado, I mean, the Diamondbacks obviously are
San Diego, Colorado,
Arizona.
Yeah, and it's a race to the bottom.
Yeah.
I think the Dodgers. The Dodgers make the playoffs. I think you have the who's in the East? Braves, Cardinals, Dodgers. Those are your division winners. They all make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. I think there's three wild card teams this year, bud.
Yeah.
Push it up.
I can see your wild cards being the Brewers, the Mets, and the Phillies. I definitely could see the Phillies being one of those wild card teams this year.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I also can see the back of my own eyelids, so that's where I'm at right now.
Right.
It's been a long day. I had to lay down. My back was hurting. So that's why I turned my camera off for tonight.
I mean, we have some time. We have some time left. I don't have any more to talk about. If you guys want to end it early, we can.
No, that's fine. I'm just saying. Okay. I just had to turn the camera off so I could lay down. My back was hurting. It's been a long day. It's been a long week. I did want to bring up one controversial topic, and I know we generally steer clear of the controversial topics.
But
I didn't know if you had heard about the controversy in collegiate female swimming.
I heard about it. The first transgender athlete won. Is that what you're talking about, bud?
Yeah. And I'm as a student of the game, and now don't get me wrong, I'm no expert on women's collegiate swimming.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll defer to the experts. And by experts I mean actual experts, and not just jackasses on Facebook. But from what I saw as a layperson, but yet a sports fan, was I saw better technique. Leah Thomas, in the one she did win, or the one event she did win, I should say. In the one event she did win, she didn't swim anything outrageous. She didn't blow a world record out. She won by 1.26 seconds. It wasn't anything. She just outworked them, and that's what I saw. I saw her turns were so much. She got a much better launch off the wall, but she was coming up too soon, and that was allowing them to hang in. It was technique. There wasn't anything physical about it. And then in the race the next day, or later on that day, she didn't even medal. She finished 8th out of 8 swimmers. So you can't tell me that there's some kind of crazy unfair. She doesn't have a super unfair competitive advantage because she was a dude. Who cares? It wasn't like she woke up yesterday and went, I'm going to be a girl because I'm not any good at being boys.
Mm-hmm.
And because I'm thorough and I'm also an asshole. 3 of her 4 best times, or 3 or 4 of her best times were when she was competing against and racing as a dude. So it's not like she just all of a sudden went and became a girl because she wasn't any good as a boy.
Right.
Some of her best times are against men. So this to me, as a fan of competition, it's a bogus argument. All I saw was somebody that went out and put in more work. And it comes, so we talk about Tom Brady a lot on this show. And we talk about his fire and his competitiveness. Put in the work. If the other person works for an hour, Kobe Bryant was the same way. And this has been a rant that I've been having for the last 2 days, just getting ready for the show. It's like, you want to be the best, you got to beat the best. And the best are working. When you're not working, they're out there working. There's stories about Kobe.
Well, I mean, I remember watching a documentary about him, but I forget which player it was for Team USA when they were in the Olympics. And he said that it was the first year that he was on Team USA. He goes, you know what? He goes, I'm a young guy. It's my first year. I'm going to go to the gym early. So he got up early in the morning and went down there, and Kobe was already down there working out in the morning. He said, I thought I'd be the first one there, and there is Kobe Bryant down there working out already. He goes, that's what the greats do. That's what makes the greats different from the good people. The greats.
And then he came off the court, went and got showered, and he could hear somebody still out there, bouncing a ball. So he went back out there to watch. He's like, I was going to watch. And it wasn't, he's like, there wasn't anything easy about it.
Mm-hmm.
He was out there throwing up big shot, in-game moves. And he's like, because I watched that clip from that interview from that that documentary. I watched the clip from that interview from that documentary just the other day, and he was like, and then in the game he went and dropped 49.
Yeah,
it's kind of and then to me, and getting back to this whole idea of transgender athletes, if a female to male transgender athlete was 6'2", 255, and ran a 5'4", 540, and wanted to go play linebacker at your school, you'd all be for it. Well, they can be part of it. Why not?
Mm-hmm. I wouldn't be surprised, but if that doesn't happen in the next few years,
right? If they can earn a spot, and it's frustrating to me. All I see is people that don't want to have to work any harder.
Yeah.
Like if you're losing to this person, that what that tells me is that you're not working harder. Yeah, we might lose, but we won't be outworked.
Mm-hmm.
So if you lose, you take what you lost, and you go and you work harder. You work harder so you don't lose the next time.
Well, I guess the biggest argument with that, Bud, is being that she used to be a dude because of the testosterone levels in her body. There's where people are complaining about.
And the problem is that they don't know what they're talking about.
Well, I'm just giving you.
I'm not saying that I'm not ripping on you. I'm saying that those people don't know what they're talking about. Because to compete in athletics, you have to have a random drug. You have to be drug tested.
Right.
And if you don't meet a certain threshold for testosterone, you're not allowed to compete. If your testosterone is too high, you're not allowed to compete because you're cheating. Doesn't matter whether you're a dude or a chick. If your testosterone is too high, you are not going to be allowed to compete because you're cheating.
Yeah.
And so if Leah Thompson's testosterone are low, and testosterone is below what would be the normal threshold for a female athlete, and given the fact that athletes by nature of just working out and being athletic may have elevated levels of testosterone anyway, because it's a hormone that the body naturally releases when you exercise. There are tolerances for it, and if you don't want to be in the locker room with the person because you're uncomfortable, then leave.
Right.
You go home, go back to your dorm, go back to your house, wherever, shower at home.
Mm-hmm.
Every time, I don't know, I'm not a girl, but when we were in the locker room as guys, there were two types of guys. Guys that wanted to show off, and guys that just wanted to get it done and go home.
Right.
And if you were just one of those guys that wanted to go home, nobody said anything, nobody messed with you. As long as you weren't the weirdo kid, you just went, took a shower, went home, nobody said anything.
Mm-hmm.
But if you were one of those macho guys who wanted to show off, then you and your buddies showed off and you were proud of it and you had it all out for everyone to see, then yeah, that was cool.
Mm-hmm.
It was that, most of the time, I would say 90-95% of the time, you're just doing business. You're there to get clean and go home. There's I don't know of a lot of guys. Maybe I'm different. Maybe this is a unique experience that I had. But most of the guys that I ever showered with just wanted to get it done.
Right. Get out of there.
It wasn't. We weren't out there comparing sizes. And it was business. You looked straight ahead. You didn't look left. You didn't look right. You got clean and you left.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's a unique experience that was just my own, but
I can't say that I had any experience of that because I didn't play football or baseball or hockey, anything like that. That was team oriented.
Well, I just after gym class, when everybody be coming and putting their stuff away.
I could say, Bud, that I think I had the same experience you did. A lot of people just went in there. You know what? I'll be honest with you. When I was in middle school, I got a bad case of athlete's feet because somebody wasn't clean, and I stepped in the same water as they stepped in, and I went to my doctor and I got cream and it went away, and I haven't had it since. But they tell you, and after that, I always wore shower shoes. They always even if you go to a gym to work out, make sure you wear shower shoes because not everybody is as clean as you are. So don't need to get athlete feet or what's the bacteria that the NFL players get a lot of that from staph infection. That's another one that's common at gyms.
Staph infection.
Staph infection is another one.
Meningitis.
Meningitis. That's another one that's very common.
And meningitis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They tell you
and I don't know. Maybe it's different in girls' locker room. Maybe it's different in a girls' locker room.
Right.
I don't know. I've never been in a girls' locker room. I have no desire to be in a girls' locker room. But and I wouldn't have a problem with the trans dude being in the whatever. Do your business. Go home. Nobody cares.
Right.
As long as you're not being a creepy weirdo, don't be the creepy weirdo. But anybody can be the creepy weirdo.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what's between your legs. If you're being the creepy weirdo, you're being the creepy weirdo.
Yeah.
And I think that just to follow up on that Mile High story.
Yes.
Over 1,000 square feet burned.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
The fire started in the suite level, spread to seats in the club. Fire began in the construction zone. No injuries were reported.
That's good.
Yeah, it was probably an electrical fire.
Probably.
Somebody probably was running bad equipment.
Been involved in that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been electrical fire. I've been involved in that.
Yeah, I knew. I didn't think you were involved in the fire.
No, the shore house that we rented that caught fire.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, wow. I remember you telling me about that story. How it burned your speakers and everything. I remember you telling me about that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy because we had just started doing this. We had all just kind of started. Sorry, my throat was dry.
Yeah.
We had all just kind of.
No one was hurt though, and luckily I wasn't inside the house when it happened. Just the upstairs got ruined. The downstairs was fine, everything, but they had to douse, everything, with the water, and that's how it happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I remember that because we had just started hanging out, doing the show together, and then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember you telling us that you didn't know if you were going to be able to do the show because you didn't have speakers to be able to project everything, and I'm like, well.
Luckily, we got new speakers, new computer, and everything worked fine.
Yeah.
I'm still here.
Yep. Well, I was going to say the two games are over. Villanova beat Michigan, and Arkansas beats Gonzaga. So those are the two March Madness games. The Texas Tech Duke game is about ready to tip, and the Houston Arizona game is about 7 minutes from now from tipping off. So I'll be sleeping when those games go on.
I'm getting ready for bed myself. So it's been a long week though, but it's good to hear you guys. I'm glad to be on here. Don't get me wrong, I had to lay down because my back, that chair was killing my back, man. So
it's a metal chair, dude. I don't blame you, man. That's one of those metal chairs.
That's the problem.
Wrestling. Hurt. Not only do they hurt your back, they hurt your butt too.
Yeah. My butt was bothering me too.
Your back, your front, your middle, your everything else.
Everything. Yeah, everything. Correct. Well, guys, we got about 5 minutes left. Does anyone want to say any last stuff? We covered about everything that we could think of.
I definitely got the one thing that I know, like I said, I know we don't normally talk controversial topics, but it's been weighing on my heart and my head. and I just wanted to get it out there, and
yeah,
and just wanted to get you guys' thoughts on it, and then share mine.
Yeah, absolutely.
of course.
Anything else? Lou, you want to go ahead and talk about your show on Saturday?
All right. The Enhanced Sports Show is Saturday as usual, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Number to call is 512-543-4662. We got a bunch of stuff we're going to go over. We are going to discuss the NHL trade deadline, down to the Elite 8 as it will be by the time we get there next week. We'll also discuss the free agent frenzy in the NFL, spring training in Major League Baseball. We'll cover, there's been some happenings in tennis this week, so we are going to cover that. We'll also cover some news from the Useless Football League. I mean the USFL, excuse me. Yeah.
Season's getting ready to start.
Yeah, but actually, that's the 16th of April.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and we'll also have our regular features of the Idiot of the Week, the best moment of the week, actually the best and worst moments of the month, and I should say the feel good story of the week is what it is. It used to be called the light story of the week. Now it's the feel good story of the week because it's what's meant to make the positive side.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also going to be a special show this week. I don't know if I should mention it to you since you guys probably won't be there. Saturday is a very special day in someone person's life that you do know. So think of it that way.
Sure.
You probably figured it out.
Would that be your significant other?
No.
No?
No.
Okay.
Gee, I thought I gave you a hint.
I'm not sure.
It happens once a year.
Happens once a year.
Oh.
Are you doing your taxes?
I knew he was going to say that. I knew he was going to say tax day. I knew it. You planted that joke right there. I knew it.
Hey, you can't leave a fastball at 88 out over the middle of the plate. I'm going to hit that every time.
I knew someone was going to want a tax joke. I knew it. You've been rehearsing that, haven't you? Mm-hmm.
I don't rehearse anything.
Are you sure you two can compare notes? Yeah.
No, I don't have
take notes.
My notes have been off. I pulled my extra screen. It's been off since the.
I knew I knew someone was going to come with a tax joke. I knew it.
Oh, that's not it.
Okay, my birthday is Saturday. Oh, for crying out loud.
Yeah. Well, happy birthday, Lou.
Thank you, Captain. Here, I thought you weren't acknowledging your birthday anymore. Oh wait, no, that's just me.
Some people do and some people don't. But
Well,
for the record, since you guys won't be there, I'll lay all the details. I'll be 52, so
right.
We can know that. And in dog years, well, maybe we shouldn't go that far. That's so much. But I'll say one thing. I'll say one thing. I'd be a pretty old dog.
In turtle years, you'd be like 22.
In what years?
Turtle.
I think in turtle years, it'd be about over 400 years old.
No, because turtles live forever.
So as a cactus.
True. You could be a Bristol pine cone. They live to be like 9,000 years old.
Yeah.
And that's pretty old.
Yeah. If I was a dog, I think I'd be about 372 years old by now. Ew. Yuck. Isn't that disgusting?
With that in mind, let's thank you for everyone who, by the way, the answer to my trivia question before we go was called the Augusta Invitational, was what it was called. The Augusta Invitational.
Makes a lot of sense.
The first 5 years before it became the Masters that it is.
What years was that?
They changed it. I forget when the Masters started. Hang on a second. Let me see that real quick because I obviously have taken that screen down, so I don't have my screen up. Hang on a minute. Let me see when exactly the Masters started, or what it was called in the first 5 years. Let's see.
They expect the 1800s, I think.
Masters. Okay, go to Wiki. Let's see. The Masters. Let's see here. Where is it? Augusta National. The first Masters tournament, or what would be the Augusta National Invitational, started in 1934. So from 34 to 39, it was called the Augusta National Invitational, and then it became the Masters in 1939.
Makes a lot of sense.
And of course, the defending champion this year is Hideki Matsuyama. So I'm interested to see what he has for the Champions Dinner, because it's the Champions gets to pick the meal of the night. I think the night before the starts.
Oh yeah.
So I'm interested to see what he picks.
Does that only happen for the Masters? That happen to all the majors?
I think, Lou. I think it's just specifically the Masters. They have all the Masters that are still alive. Yeah.
Okay. Since that's the most prestigious.
Yeah, that must be fun.
Well, I mean, again, you get to pick what you want. So no matter where you come from, what part of the world you come from. When Tiger won his first one, he picked hamburgers and cheeseburgers and milkshakes.
Right.
Simple. But
I wonder if there's a limit to what you can.
I'm going to say no, because Augusta's one of the most top-rated country clubs in the world, so I doubt it.
They can afford it.
They can afford it. They can afford
like $30,000, like a tin of $30,000 tin of caviar or something.
Well, and they'll deal with their taxes then anyway, so it won't matter.
That in the business is what they call all back.
I got my own tax joke now.
Yeah.
But no, I think I would want to push the limits of that and see how wild we could get. Super expensive lobster and stuff like that.
Caviar too.
Oh, never had caviar before, but I'd be willing to try it on somebody else's dime.
It's okay. I mean, like I said, I'll as we get closer to the tournament starting, I'm sure that it'll come out of what is being served.
We can definitely talk about that again, because that's a fun little side.
Because I want to say, guys, Dustin Johnson, who won it, not Dustin Johnson. Yes, I'm sorry, Dustin Johnson who won it the year before. I think he had fish and steak. I think was his.
Yeah, that would surf would be. Yeah.
Save us anything? Steaks a lot.
I know, right? They didn't even invite us, for Christ's sake. So
why not? We're the sports world now.
That would be damn awesome to do our podcast live from Augusta National.
That would be anywhere.
Incredible.
I'll do it from the elevator.
All right.
But anyway, thank you guys both again for making it on the show. Again, this has been the Walker Report. We're part of In the Zone Sports Talk Radio and NGSE Sports. Remember the website, guys. It's ngsesports.com for all your current sports content. And we are sponsored by creatingzenspaces.com. If you missed this show at any point and want to watch it in its entirety, head over to the Walker Report YouTube channel. This show will be up in its entirety, and all our past shows from this year and the years previous are all up on that thing. Even my old Sunshine State Sports Jabbers are still on the channel. If you want to go back and take a look at those. But we will be back here, guys, again next week at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It'll be, of course, the end of the month, March 31st, so we'll be one day away from April Fool's Day, but maybe we'll throw some April Fool's jokes in there next week when we get to that.
I just had one. Oh.
But anyway, everyone, please stay safe out there. Thank you to the men and women of our armed services and our first responders. Thank you always is what do. We will see you guys next week. We love all of you. Until then, peace.
Yeah, folks.
Yes.